The sun is starting to shine a little more. The days are getting a little bit longer. It's getting a little bit warmer. Spring is on its way. That is very exciting. Everything in my bones is telling me it is time to put a little more time into the garden. I'm gonna follow my instinct a little bit, and this year is a really different year for me with gardening. Normally, I have heat mats that I can just plug in to put on seed starting, and I have lights that I can just plug in to put on seed starting. Not this year. This year, I have a wood stove. I have the sun. I'm sure I have some other resources, and I'm going to use the resources that I can see around me right now to the best of my ability. And one of the things that I'm going to do this year to help with the seed starting is that I am going to be building a mini greenhouse. This spot behind the old prowler that will be taken down is the spot that gets the most sun throughout the day. And I found these podiums. They're like, I don't know, made out of old pallets or something. And I had two, but the person cut the top off of this one instead of leaving it all in one piece. But when I reassemble these, as I am intending to do, I get to build out a little greenhouse that will hold 3 shelves worth of plants. And then I'm going to use this plastic here. We have a bunch of it that came with the property. And in the future, I will have a bigger greenhouse that's made with glass and that is more structurally sound. But I am not willing to go another year without gardening. So this is going to be enough to get a small garden's worth of plants started. And it's enough to really be able to scratch that itch. The first thing that I have to do is take this piece right here, and I have to reattach it onto this thing right here. This is intentionally temporary. This is intentionally for a single season. It's probably not going to be very fancy, and it probably wouldn't last through a bunch of winter storms. What I'm building is not what I would recommend building for somebody who's trying to set themselves up for a longer term situation. We just have so many little random things here that I'm going to use what I have, and I'm going to make it easily disassemblable. Disassemblable so that I can reuse it when the time comes, or I can repurpose it into something else, because these things are pretty handy. They'll make like a good wood, like holding firewood thing too. So that's the plan. I find it worth mentioning that I am also purchasing seedlings this year because I cannot start all of the things I want to grow in this little greenhouse. I can start a lot, but things like tomatoes, they need more time and warmer temperatures than I'll be able to give them in this situation. And I have a friend who already started me some tomatoes. So next year, hopefully, we'll be more in a position where I can even start tomatoes as I continue to learn how to do this whole off-grid thing. But this will be good for like cooler weather stuff that can withstand the outside frost. And it'll probably be good for in the summer when I want to start the winter veggies. Sorry, this hill is really a lot. Still getting used to it. For 6 months I've been getting used to it. But I'll be able to put shade cloth over this structure in the late summer when it's too hot for winter veggies, but it's when they need to get started, and it'll keep them cooler. And that way we'll have a nice winter garden as well. So for now, it's just cooler weather stuff that can be outside even when it's cold. First you clean up your mess, and then you make a mess, and then you clean it up again. That's how this works. I guess first I'm gonna have to take the staples out that were already in here and not be lazy. I got it in there easy enough. And like I said, I'm not really intending to make this permanent, so I'm just gonna hammer a couple nails in to make sure it stays up. And then there will be shelves connecting these two items together. So nails next. Next, I'm going to nail this piece into the side here so that I have a gauge of the width for where I get to set the pavers up to put the other half. And then when I get the other half in, I'll just attach this one piece to the other side as well. And then I'll have my frame of reference so that I can go get the rest of my panels here. And I know that everything's even and it's the right height. This one's dirty, but it's on the back at the bottom. So it's not really going to be putting too much sunlight in the system. It's not going to matter that much. I do not have a framing hammer right now, so don't judge my hammer skills. So this is going to go like this. I also fully understand that normal people don't have like pavers laying around. So this isn't free to a lot of people, but I can only tell my story. Can't tell yours. You gotta tell your own story. A not lazy person would probably level the ground. I don't like it when I have to wrestle with my laziness. I sometimes am lazy, okay? Okay. Boom. Even. Yep. To be fair, I've come a long way at my ability to hammer a nail since I first built my first ever garden beds, which was just an absolute disaster. So baby steps, baby steps. Believe it or not, this is not my first time building a janky greenhouse. And last time I did it, I stapled chicken wire to the two shelves so that the water could drain down through the different layers out of the seedlings. I'm considering doing that again. That other greenhouse lasted 3 years and it worked just fine. And I just used like plastic to hang over the top of it. So this one will even be, this one's less janky. It would last even longer, but it doesn't have to. So the issue that I'm occurring right now is that I only have 2-inch nails and a hammer. So I can't like drive a 2x4 really from the side because I don't have long enough nails. It's not gonna like hold. It's not gonna grip it. So I'm just probably gonna use like fencing because we have a lot of like, not hardware cloth, but just like wider gauge fencing because we have a lot of it laying around. So if I could use some of that up, I would be stoked because it's just like taking up space. Okay, it's getting later and it's beautiful. It's the golden hour. But I need to start making dinner. So I'm gonna sleep on the process here a little bit with getting the rest of that little greenhouse assembled. But I was thinking about it as I was walking over here, because I have a few other resources over here outside of my giant pile of fencing. There's also this box thing that, as I go through my jungle of overgrown weeds, check this thing out. It's like, I don't know if you can see it. There's this box thing right here around this tree for who knows what reason. Jesus. But if I could take this apart, then these pieces will be good for maybe maybe I might use these as the shelving, because they're thin enough that I can drive the nails that I have through them, and they're gonna just rot here anyway. So we need to sleep on it because I need to assess my resources a little more fully. Yes, what I would recommend is having a game plan before you do jump into building a little greenhouse, and have all your materials ready. Makes your life a lot easier, and you can probably accomplish it faster. Do what I say, not as I do. I figured I'd give you a quick garden update while we are building our mini greenhouse, so you can see what we are building it for. I will try and put some befores in here. But right here, this was literally all of this was that green, terrible clover weed that's so invasive. I hate it. I like not the kind of person that says they hate plants, but that stuff is so easy come, easy go. It's so invasive, and it burns so easy that it's like, get this away from my house. I do not feel like having a freaking forest fire blaze through here and have all of this super flammable stuff by my house. That's just, no, I don't like it. So we've got new pots, all the bigger ones you can see. I lined out gopher wire on everything. I haven't seen any evidence of gophers, but build it and they will come. So this is an old bed, and this is the reason that I'm putting all new pots in. I'll show you right now. So there's some really beneficial weeds in this bed, like this stinging nettle right here. It's one of the most nutrient dense, wonderful plants on the planet. I'm so grateful it's here, and it's really hard to work with, but that's okay. And then in this bed where I've planted all these carrots, there's this grass right here that's got like a super deep root and just keeps coming back. So going forward, given that there are so many different kinds of pretty invasive and pervasive weeds in the older pots that were already here, you can see that like they're older because they're like kind of falling apart, versus the newer ones, they look a little better. I appreciate uniformity to a certain extent when it comes into the garden, because it helps me make a plan, and uniformity and square footage on the pots makes it so that I can easily lay out how many of each thing I can put in the pot, because then the distances are equal across each pot. So this big carrot bed that I have that's like twice as big as the other ones isn't going to work for the layout that I want. Plus it's positioned in a way that makes it so that it's like way further out from all the other pots. So I want to put another row right here, but it makes it so that I can't really do that. So that's got to go. I also did a fun little thing where I lined out all of these little pots, as you can see them, across this whole end right here. And I did something a little dramatic. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm going to figure it out when the time comes, but I planted every single one of these pots with peas. which is like a 40-foot row of peas, which I have never, ever grown that many peas in my life. So they're starting to have their birthdays. I'll show you. See, there's one. There's a pea. I think there's another one right here. There's a pea right there. And I am very curious to see how it goes, given the fact that I don't have a freezer. So storing peas at that volume is going to be a little complicated. But I might figure it out. I don't know. I don't have the full answer yet. I've gotta cross that bridge when we come to it. One last little update. Look at this. These are my potatoes. See them? They're happy. I'm very excited. This is the first time I've successfully grown potatoes so far. I should cross my fingers, knock on wood. So I'm hoping that it continues to go as smooth as it has. And I'm just going to keep them covered while we get through the last little bit of this like cooler weather that we're in before we kind of full hit into summer. And then this piece of plastic will go bye-bye. All right, back to business. Enough meandering about. I decided to make my life easier in the long run. And before I was going to attach boards to the sides of these panels right here. But what I decided to do instead is I'm going to take these panels right here. Since they're easily detachable, it's just staples in them. I'm going to make them level with this side. And then I'm just going to go grab some boards from the back corner of the property and lay them like shelves would be laid out. Make my life easy. No mic right now, so bear with me, but this is, again, meant to be easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Here's what I do. Put mostly flat board. Make level. Where level is 9. Make level on this side too. I imagine watching all of the family members that I have that are in construction watch me do this stuff in horror. Like, why can't you just do it right like you know how to do?